Number two, in terms of your financial foundation, is insurance. So again, kind of that first boring thing to talk about, but very necessary, is insurance. Insurance, everybody wants to talk about building their wealth, but insurance is there to protect our wealth. So when we think about why we're planning for the unexpected could be job loss, right? So that's why we want to have that 3 to 6 months of living expenses. It could be health issues. It could be having to take care of aging parents. There's lots of things. It could be accidents. There's lots of things that can be an unexpected event. So we want to have the liquid money available for us, but we also want to have the proper insurance protection in place. One of the best phrases that I heard a long time ago was that nobody likes paying for insurance, but you want to have the insurance in place that you would need to have if something happened, right? So like, if you got into a car accident, you can't then call up your agent and be like, hey, can we increase my limits? That's not quite how it works. So we want to be diligent about putting the right coverage in place first. So we'll kind of skim through these. So obviously health insurance, typically most people have that through their company. If you're self-employed, there's the marketplace, and there are some small business plans if you're in Virginia, even as one person, that you can qualify for. Life insurance. So especially if you're a breadwinner or in the household, like you have people really depending upon your income, extra important to make sure you have the right amount of life insurance in place. Then we have disability insurance. Disability insurance is one of those things that people sign up for if it's employer paid, but they don't sign up for if they have to pay for it. It's very important either way that you have disability insurance. Does anybody want to come off and say what they think disability insurance is? All right, I'll just tell you. Oh, Gregory, you're gonna give it a shot.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna, you're asking what disability insurance covers?
Yeah, do you know what it is, or like what it does?
I think it covers you if you get injured to the point where you can't work.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to have it, but I let it run out, so I should probably get some again.
Yeah, and you should so if you have a TSP, I'm assuming you work for the government.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they do have a base benefit. So I'll recap that in a second. But for everyone at a high level, disability insurance basically replaces about 60 to 70% of your income if you can't work due to any sort of injury or illness, even if it happens off the job, right? So it's different than like workers' compensation. So the question you have to ask yourself is, if my income stops, then what, right? Um, Most people would have to drain their savings, and it would drain very quickly in order to just pay their normal bills. So with disability insurance, it helps prevent that from happening. There might be a little bit of supplementing, but if you can have at least 60 or 70% of your income coming in, it's going to put you in a stronger position than not having any income come in. Unfortunately, they don't issue 100% because then everybody would just fake claims and never get back to work. So companies a lot of companies will offer disability insurance. There's short term, which typically pays for up to 3 or 6 months. And then there's long term that kicks in at 3 or 6 months and pays until you're at retirement age. For the federal government, the first year they pay 60%. The second year moving forward, it drops to 40%. So there is a gap there. You can always fill in those gaps, but it's important to check your work coverage and then just supplement as needed. And then same thing, if you're a small business owner, you can get your own policies through a private insurance company. Then there's long-term care insurance, kind of like disability insurance, but in your elderly years. So if anybody knows anyone in a nursing home or an assisted living facility, a hospice, it gets very expensive. You can easily spend $100,000 per year just on long-term care services. And that's just to do basic things like bathing yourself, feeding yourself, getting around. If you have dementia or Alzheimer's, all that stuff would be covered by a long-term care policy. And there are some hybrid policies. So I know there's some negative connotation around the long-term care insurance industry. It's changed a lot from just this, like what we call the traditional policies that used to be very expensive and had price increases and all of that stuff. Now they've sort of rewrapped things. so that it's more affordable and less overwhelming. And then last but not least, we have your auto, home, and liability. Most people have auto and home because you have to, but I would still double check you have the proper coverage and consider adding an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy, again, if you were to get sued, gives an umbrella to your assets, so it protects people from being able to take everything that you've worked hard to build. So again, insurance is not exciting, but when you have the proper insurances in place, it allows you or gives you that permission or allows you to really focus on the well building.